welcome to episode 358 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. This is a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering, wherever you may be playing it this holiday season. If it's even the holidays when you're listening to this.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you how to live your life.
It could be this. Somebody could be listening to this in June of next year.
That's right. Or June of last year. What?
Whoa, a time traveler?
Yeah, you never know.
If you're a time traveler that's listened to our podcast, please tweet at us.
Okay, wait. But here's my question.
Yeah.
If you were a time traveler from next year, say, and
you went back just like 1 year.
And you went back 2 years ago. Because while you're a time traveler, you're also a timid person. So you're like, I can't get too crazy with it.
I'll just go back 1 year.
Would you be able to listen to, you would have to have downloaded them to your phone and then gone back in time and listened to them. Because you couldn't go back in time and listen to them.
If you're going in through time, you want some podcasts to keep you company.
Yeah. Or you're someone from last year who time traveled into the future, listened to this podcast, and then traveled back.
You know what? It blows my mind every time I think about it. That time travel is possible. It can only, we only know how to go forward in time.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not just talking like life generally. I mean, literally, people can time travel forward faster than the average person lives, you know?
Oh, you mean like
by going faster.
By going faster.
Yeah. Isn't that so weird? This is what I think about at night.
Wait, but it's the closer that you get to the speed of light, aren't you aging slower?
Yeah, and then yeah.
So they're like, which direction are they time traveling in?
I guess they're time traveling forward, but them
slowly.
Sure, we can think about it that way. Anyway, this is a podcast about Magic the Gathering.
And definitely not about physics, because I think we've really thoroughly proved that neither of us is going to be able to talk about that.
I could talk about time travel for another 30 minutes.
I believe you.
Anyway, on today's show, we're going to talk about not only time travel, but also about power creep.
Oh, I was also going to say, please tweet at us with the day that you're listening to this.
Oh, yes.
Like the date.
The date.
With the hashtag, today I'm listening.
But I wanted you to also tell us the big news item of that day.
Oh, yeah. What's the big news item?
Yeah, because that's interesting.
Great. Anyways, as Maria said, we are talking about power creep today.
Which is kind of time travel-y.
What does it mean? Because players talk about it. These days, they talk about it maybe more than they used to.
Yeah, quite a lot, actually.
It's not something that's unique to Magic as a game.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at what does it mean and what are maybe some examples of it that we can see.
And we're not talking about a person who is really good at being a creep.
Oh man, have you met Ted?
Oh, he is a power creep. Ted. Oh, Ted, we all hate him.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're talking about Magic cards getting more powerful over time.
Yes.
Which time somehow sneaking into our podcast yet again.
Oh, time. Anyways, we'll also be talking about our picks for who's going to take down Mythic Championship VII, which is this coming weekend.
What?
Just several days in the future.
Oh, that's so weird.
Time again.
Time again. Yeah. And when I get on that plane to travel to California for this tournament, I'll be time traveling in a very small way.
You will be traveling more slowly forward through time.
But also into the past because we're going into a time zone
But you'll
difference.
still arrive there later than the time that you left. So you're still traveling into the future. Like you're still,
but it's the past.
No, but it's not the past because you haven't experienced that time yet. Like if you leave here at 4 p.m. and you arrive there at 7 p.m., you have not yet experienced 7 p.m. So you can't say that you're going into the past.
Just because it's not my personal past. When I travel back to 1612, I have also not experienced that before. So am I not time traveling then?
You are time traveling then.
Okay, it's probably good I never majored in physics because I don't understand any of this.
You see what I'm saying though? It's like what we were saying about the very fast spaceship, about like you are traveling, you're still traveling into the future the way we all are, but you're doing it more slowly.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the time will be less than what it was if you had stayed here and experienced that same amount of time.
Good luck, have physics.
None of this is correct.
What was I going to say? Oh,
yeah.
Before we get into our thank yous for the show, I want to let you know that our sister podcast, The Upkeep,
yes,
which if you're not listening to it already, you should be. It's Magic News every Monday.
10 minutes or less.
10 minutes or less.
So snappy.
Stay updated.
Yeah.
And you can find it anywhere you find podcasts, but there's also a new place to find it.
Yes, which is PodMN, which is a newish podcast app specifically for Minnesota-based podcasts.
Woohoo.
So you can find us on there and discover lots of other cool Minnesota podcasts on it.
Yeah.
Plus, they have a sweet rewards program where podcasts like us can submit a reward for people who are listening to the podcast. So we sent them one for people who listen to The Upkeep.
Yep.
Every time you listen to The Upkeep, you get entered. You get one entry into the drawing for a sweet giveaway.
Yeah, so if you want some sweet Good Luck High Five swag from our sponsors, Ultra Pro, Card Kingdom, and us, just listen to The Upkeep every week in December. You'll get one entry every time you listen for 6 minutes or more.
Yeah.
You can't just go in and listen for 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. 6 minutes or more.
No.
There you go.
And yeah, check it out and find some other super cool Minnesota podcasts too. It's a great podcast community in our state, and we're super happy to support them in this cool new app.
Yeah.
And we want to say thank you, a huge, enormous thank you to everybody who supports us on patreon.com/GLHFmagic.
Yes, you keep us firmly traveling into the future.
Oh, that's so true.
By being a patron of the show. You help us get a new soundboard. Maria's gonna cry. She's so happy.
I have talked about it today no less than 20 times already.
Yeah.
It's a brand new state-of-the-art soundboard specifically for podcasting, and we could not have bought it without the support of people on Patreon. And if you're like, where is my money going? It's going directly back into the show to keep it happening, to keep it coming out of your cat's mouths every single week. And we're going to have the ability to play sound effects on this board.
Yes. And if you don't think that Maria is going to immediately program the first button as a fart noise, you don't even know. You don't even know us.
You are correct. I was just debating on how many of the buttons I was going to use for fart noises, honestly. Somebody suggested air horn. Somebody suggested a goose sound.
Yeah, okay, if we don't have a goose honking, I quit.
I think the goose is a great option.
Yes.
But if you have suggestions for sound effects, please also tweet at us at GLHFmagic with the hashtag. All of them should be fart noises. Because that's just a good use of our time and your ear holes. So thank you so much. And the end of the year is coming up. So if you want to do some giving here in the season of giving, just go over to patreon.com/GLHFmagic. For as little as $1.25 an episode, you can become a squirrel level supporter. You get access to our awesome Discord server, so many other rewards.
And our sweet hangouts.
Yeah, stickers, playmats, etc. All sorts of rewards for becoming a member.
Thank you as well to our other great sponsor, Card Kingdom.
Yay!
cardkingdom.com/GLHF. You can order from them and they will send you stickers or tokens if you ask for them, which is super awesome. And they just have lightning fast shipping. So if you've forgotten to purchase a gift for a Magic player in your life this holiday season,
don't worry.
No better place to get it than Card Kingdom. They will send it to you as swiftly as if you had remembered to order it on time.
Wow, you're so responsible.
You're so
great job.
Look at you thinking ahead. You really stayed on top of things this year.
Please use that affiliate link, cardkingdom.com/GLHF, for anything you want to buy for your magical life. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Ted, the power creep.
I forgot that we had named Power Creep. And for a second I was like, who's Ted?
Who's Ted? Yeah, Ted, great name for Power Creep. But honestly, what the heck are we talking about?
Okay, so Power Creep is a phenomenon that, as we mentioned, happens not only in Magic, but in lots of collectible games that happen over a long span of time. And the reason why time is important in the phenomenon of power creep is because it's a phenomenon that happens across a lot of time.
Yes.
So that says in the early days of a game, things were less powerful.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, they've slowly made cards more and more powerful by just a little bit at a time, right? So you never notice it when it happens.
It's not like power slingshot.
Yeah, so like one day you have a 2/2 for 4 mana, and then like the next time you have a 2/3 for 4 mana, and then a 3/3,
and then a 4/4 questing beast
with haste, vigilance, and death touch.
You know.
And so eventually you get to the point where the cards that were once comparable are no longer even remotely related to the things that came back in the early days.
And so Magic players talk about this all the time, currently, discussions about it like, hey, do we need to pull the reins back on power creep so things don't continue to get out of control? Like our life total is 20 and are we going to have to start raising that or whatever because the cards are more and more powerful? So do we need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves?
The eternal question of power creep.
Are certain types of cards becoming too powerful? And I'm talking about planeswalkers specifically in this. A lot of people having a problem with 3 mana planeswalkers currently, which have become an issue, in the game, honestly. And what does that look like compared to old planeswalkers? How do we address this? And how does a company address this when they see it happening?
And the thing is, power creep isn't all bad, right?
Sure.
There are times that development has been very intentional, saying, hey, we think that the game is more fun when people have really cool creatures that they can get out onto the battlefield.
Right.
So we're going to intentionally push some boundaries on how powerful creatures can be.
Yeah,
but we're going to do that, and we're going to explore that space in a meaningful way.
Yes. If you were playing Magic around its inception, creatures were notoriously terrible.
Yes.
They were very, very bad, and spells were much, much, much better.
Yes.
And then at some point, Magic made this conscious decision that Meghan mentioned, which was we want creatures to be better.
Yes.
And so they pushed them on purpose. And I, for one, am a huge fan of this decision because I love creatures. Some old school players would heartily disagree with me and say they preferred Magic the old way where spells are powerful, creatures sucked. But yeah, there's also got to be a happy balance in here too.
Yeah. So one of the cards that everyone's going to laugh when they hear this, but that comes to mind for me, obviously, is Siege Rhino.
Oh, yeah.
You look at a creature like Siege Rhino, and it's 4 mana for a 4/5.
Yep.
And it has an enter the battlefield effect, and it has trample.
Yeah.
That
would have been unthinkable back in the day.
That's absurd, and that's an absurd amount of power. And that is a card that, back when it was really having its heyday in Standard, several people have been like, yeah, I think that this card was actually probably too powerful for Standard. And we pushed it a little bit too much on this. But then you look at something like Questing Beast and you're like, which one do you pick?
Yeah.
Siege Rhino or Questing Beast? Because Questing Beast sure does have haste and vigilance.
I think Questing Beast is better designed than Siege Rhino.
So you look at a card like Siege Rhino, which when it was really wrecking havoc.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this is too much. And now we have a card that's arguably, in a lot of ways, better than it.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. And Siege Rhino was created, if you listen to the podcast, you know the story, for a very specific reason, because Wizards of the Coast feared that there would be a 1/1 token deck built around the card First Response, which is also a pregnancy test, put a card in Magic. And they were worried that that deck would be too powerful and they needed a check. And that's why Siege Rhino has Trample. And kind of the reason it was designed that the way that it was. Turns out that deck never came to fruition.
Yeah.
And Siege Rhino just dominated.
Found it.
Yeah, nobody ever found it. It wasn't good enough, maybe, I don't know. But Siege Rhino was born.
Yeah.
And a notorious example of power creep, because a 4/5 for 4 is just kind of absurd when you think about just the baseline stats even.
Yeah. So right, it's something that it can be difficult to address because again, there are elements of power creep that are good.
Yeah. I'm never paying 4 mana for a 2/2.
You don't want the game of Magic to look the way it did 25 years ago or even 20 years ago, right? Because sometimes you do look at those spells and you're like, all right, well.
Time Walk, huh? Interesting.
Cool. Okay, Time Walk. That's...
that's an extreme example, but that existed. Force of Will existed.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about the opposite way, where there were. It's interesting because there were super busted cards.
Yeah,
there were cards that just really spiked the level of power in any given in the sets that they were in.
The Power 9. You could call that.
But outside of that, things could be a little lackluster.
Yes,
and you don't want to crack open a brand new set and open your booster and be like, This is lackluster.
No.
That's not the experience that you want people to have.
Back in the day, a card like Sarah Angel, which we have recently had a reprint in Dominaria, which was a pretty good card.
Yeah, 4/4 vigilance for 6.
Would have been number 1 finisher in a control deck or something like that. It would have been the top end, the primo slice, grade A sirloin in a deck. And nowadays that card is not even a consideration.
I thought that we were talking about cake, and it turned out we were talking about steak.
Common misconception.
I've never been more sad.
Like, you would never be like, oh, Sarah Angel, yeah, I'm putting this in my standard deck.
Yeah.
Like, no, you would never think about that these days. But back in the day, that was the thing that you did.
So I was thinking, also, we should touch on this in Commander.
Sure.
A little bit, because Golos is someone that... Someone? I mean, Golos is a someone.
What? It's a golem, right? What is Golos creature type?
Golos is a scout.
Oh, legendary artifact creature scout. Okay.
Yeah. Golos is a someone. Don't be hurtful.
All right, fine.
That they've talked about in Commander, because it's like, okay, this is a commander who gives you all 5 colors in its color identity.
Sure.
Because it's down there in the text box. But you don't even have to worry about assembling all 5 colors in order to cast Golos, because he's colorless.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to, you can go and get any of the wild lands that are available to you in Commander.
And like, these are all individual as well. So.
Yes. And then you're able to activate Golos maybe the next turn, depending on what your mana has looked like.
Yeah.
And it's just a very, very powerful thing that is allowing people to do, much wilder things than they've done in Commander and other scenarios.
Get those zombies.
Yeah, but like... Except that's not even like the coolest thing that you can do in Commander with this, right? Because it has all 5 colors in its identity. Once you activate that ability and you're casting those spells for free, you can just have literally any of the wildest cards that are still available and still legal in Commander. Just go to town.
And you mentioned this too about Commander, and you have the breadth of magic to choose from in a lot of cases to put cards in your deck, and people just choosing cards from the past X number of years.
Yeah, which is, I think, a discussion that people have also been recently having about formats like Legacy. Yeah. Where it's like, you have so many years to choose from.
And look at all these Okos in your deck.
And so many of the cards in a deck end up being from 2019.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's an issue.
That is a thing, because it's kind of sad, right? I mean, in these eternal formats, I want to play with cards that are eternal, that are older, because I think that's one of the cool things about them, is that I don't just have to pick cards from the most recent set. But unfortunately, due to high power levels, sometimes that's just not a reality. So
I was thinking that we could look at a couple of cards.
Great. And compare them.
So I thought, while we talk about power creep, we could take a look at some 4-mana creatures.
Great.
Rare. From older sets.
Oh boy, I love looking at old Magic cards.
Oh, they are something else. They really are. And just take a look at and compare some of these.
To the 4-mana rares we'll see today.
See today.
Hit me. What have you got?
All right. Here's one. Sylvan Yeti.
I love this. It looks like Marshall.
The Sylvan Yeti, which was Portal.
Okay.
Sylvan Yeti's power is equal to the number of cards in your hand.
Okay.
And its toughness is 4. So it's just like a
3/4.
It's like it's a card that later on in the game could very possibly be an 0/4. Okay. And when you cast it, is maybe a 5/4.
Maybe.
And it's literally just a 5/4.
Wow. So you really want to build your deck around something like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're gonna want to draw a lot of cards so that it's not just an 0/4.
I love that art though. It is so terrible.
Yeah.
Terribly great.
Yeah, that art is really something else.
Oh, excellent.
Ooh, here's one. Flailing Manticore.
Oh, famous
This is from Mercadian Masks.
Okay.
3 and a red for a 3/3 flying first strike.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Okay, we've got some decent stats on this.
Yeah, I'd pay that.
1 mana, Flailing Manticore gets +1/+1 until end of turn. any player may play this ability. 1, Flailing Manticore gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Any player may play this ability.
So
you play this, and if you play it at the wrong time, your opponent can just immediately kill it.
I just kill it immediately.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
All right. Well, there's nothing.
What have we done with our turns?
There's nothing like a rare that your opponent can kill without spending a card.
I'm just going to kill it on my turn? Great. So we both just time walked each other. All right, next turn.
Great. Cool. Ooh, here's one that's like...
And it's cheaper, by the way, for your opponent to kill it than you spend to cast it.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Yep, they just spend 3. You spend 4 and they're like, okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Notorious Assassin. This is close to being a rare from these times, I think.
Okay.
Also from Mercadian Masks. 2 and a black, tap, discard a card, destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated.
Oh, that's
actually
that seems good.
Quite good.
Yeah, I like that one. But it is a 2/2 for 4.
Yeah,
which we made jokes about. But that is a good card.
Actually worth.
Yeah, I would pay that
rare
for
spot.
sure.
Yes,
Mercadian
I would take
Masks.
that card these days
for sure. Okay, let's delve deeper.
Yes.
Into these cards.
Okay, how about this one? This is from Torment.
What the heck? Is that a set?
Apparently. Possessed Centaur. 2 green for a 3/3 trample.
Okay.
A threshold. Possessed Centaur gets +1/+1. Is black and has 2 and a black, tap, destroy target green creature.
Weird.
Wow. So if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, this is a good card.
Green creature.
Yeah, because it becomes black because it gets possessed.
Oh, it's possessed.
Now it's possessed.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So as long as you meet the qualification,
that's okay.
This card is a 4/4 for 4.
All right.
It's not that way off the bat.
Not bad. Not bad.
It can become that way, which is, that's something.
Yeah, for sure it's something.
It's for
we'll
sure
say that.
Something. Okay, we're going to jump forward a little bit because
Okay.
some of these are just, so funny because they're so old.
I know. I love them. Not only is the art super funny, but just this is what it used to be like, kids.
Yeah, this is what it once was.
Back when I walked to school uphill both ways in a snowstorm covered in tar. This is what we had to play with in Magic. We didn't have sleeves. We played with our cards on fire.
We played with our cards.
We didn't have avocado on toast. All we had
was toast.
So spooky.
Okay, do you know what? Here's one that's pretty good.
Okay.
This is from Mirrodin.
Okay.
Mirrodin Besieged. Hero of Bladehold.
Oh yeah, this is a great card.
Mythic. 2 white for a 3/4. Battle Cry. Whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Whenever a Hero of Bladehold attacks, put 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So this can get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
If it gets to stay on the battlefield.
This is great. This is much better than what we've seen.
Yes.
True, it's
so
at Mythic, but we didn't always have Mythic.
Quite good.
Yeah.
Do you know what's fascinating to me though is that like two of the cards that we've talked about so far, Siege Rhino and Questing Beast,
Yep,
as like the ones that we've kind of been calling out.
Yeah.
Are cards that don't give your opponent a turn before they do something.
Yeah, that's true.
Siege Rhino hasn't entered the battlefield effect.
Yeah.
Questing Beast has haste. Like maybe your opponent's untapped and they get to kill it right then.
Yeah.
But also maybe not. Like if they're tapped out or they don't have the removal spell right then, they're not going to have a turn to draw it. They get attacked with Questing Beast.
These other cards at least give your opponent a turn to respond to them before they do the thing that they need to do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, just something.
There's a card called Aladdin.
Oh, where?
Right there. It's literally called Aladdin.
Oh, it really is called Aladdin.
How would you like to pay 4 mana for a 1/1, everybody?
This is from Arabian Nights. 4 mana for a 1/1.
Yes.
1 red, tap, gain control of target artifact for as long as you control Aladdin. Because he stole the lamp. He stole the lamp.
Oh, that's cute.
But also, that's so rare.
That's cute.
Okay. That one is quite old. Also, we're searching on Scryfall, which lets you sort by release date.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
What is the oldest one?
The oldest one that was in here was Singing Tree.
3 and a green. Tap, target attacking creature has power 0 until end of turn. It's an 0/3.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not bad.
No.
That's a great card. That's like a Maze of Ith.
Yeah, for 3 and a green. So I also think some of the other ones have been reprinted since then.
Sure.
So they're showing up later.
Yeah.
Because that's Arabian Nights and there were creatures before that.
Yeah.
Not many, but they were there.
But they existed.
Yeah. All right. 759 cards with CMC 4.
Wow. At rare.
At rare, mythic,
or
rare.
mythic. Cool.
All right.
Fun fact, everyone.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so our last one was Hero of Bladehold, which was mythic, of course, but
yes,
very good card. And here's Siege Rhino again.
Ugh.
And we can obviously see that power creep happening.
Also, these other cards that were Butcher of the Horde.
Yeah, just
1
insane.
red, white, black for a 5/4 flying. Sacrifice another creature. Butcher of the Horde gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Haste until end of turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally reasonable. Definitely very normal and fine. So fine.
I always
and
tried to
cool.
play that card in a standard deck.
Yeah.
It was never really that good.
So, but the place that we really wanted to talk about this was Planeswalkers.
Yay, Planeswalkers!
Yes.
Okay, so the first Planeswalkers appeared in Lorwyn.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the original 5.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Ajani, Chandra, Garruk, Jace, and Liliana.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ajani Goldmane, 2 white for a 4 loyalty, +1, you gain 2 life.
Wow. Not a great +1.
You know, it does something.
But 4 mana for 4 loyalty. That's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Chandra Nalaar, 3 red for 6 loyalty. That's all right.
Okay.
+1, Chandra Nalaar deals 1 damage to target player.
Okay.
Well, okay. Garruk Wildspeaker, 2 green, 3 mana, +1, untap 2 target lands.
All right, Garruk.
Yeah. Jace Beleren, 1 blue, 3 mana, +2, each player draws a card.
Wow.
Not even you. You don't get to.
You both get to. Wow.
Obviously, his -1 is target player draws a card, which is where you go first. And Liliana Vess, 3 black, 5 loyalty, +1 target player discards a card.
All of these seem remarkably fair.
Yes.
Can I just say that? None of these seem busted in the least.
We do have a 3 mana walker.
Yes, we do.
With Jace. Notably, his plus ability benefits both players.
Yep.
And you have to minus him, and all you do is draw a card.
Yeah.
Which I love drawing a card, but even I will say 3 loyalty, and you have to go to 2 loyalty just to draw yourself
Will
a
you
card.
please tell me how much his loyalty, his ultimate costs?
-10. -10.
10.
Target player puts the top 20 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And that's not even going to win you a match.
No, not yet. You probably need to do that.
You had to do that. You had to do a bunch of different things.
A lot more work than that.
-10. -10.
That's so funny. I hadn't thought about Jace Bellerin's ultimate,
Yes.
I think maybe ever. Oh, wow.
Chandra Nalaar
Okay.
has a -X in the middle. Chandra Nalaar deals X damage to target creature.
So it's just creature?
Yes, which I specifically wanted to talk about because I love Big Chandra right now. Chandra Awakened Inferno. But just while we're looking at like the different things that these walkers do, she has a -3 of Chandra Awakened Inferno deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature.
Yeah.
And then she has a -X also, deal X damage to target creature or planeswalker.
So it just strict upgrade here.
Upgrade.
She does cost 1 more mana, but
that's true. But she also can't be countered.
Yeah, that's true.
So very relevant.
Yeah.
And her
And has a
+2 is that very cool, is the emblem
Yeah.
thing. While we're looking at them, Ajani, most recent Ajani, Strength of the Pride, 2 white, +1, you gain life equal to the number of creatures you control, plus the number of planeswalkers you control.
And he has 5 loyalty as opposed to 4 coming in.
Again, not a great plus.
No.
But his -2 create a 2/2 white cat soldier creature token named a Johnny's Pride Mate.
Yeah.
And then the 0, the exile ability.
Yes.
If you have 15 or more 15 or more than your starting total.
Yeah.
Whereas this one has a Johnny Goldmane, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. They gain vigilance until end of turn. Well, that's actually really solid. That's a -1.
But I think just looking at these, it is, to me, I'm like, oh, these are solid. None of them I feel like are like broken.
Yeah. They're not busted.
But then if you're a company, do you have to say to yourself, we want people to buy these packs. We want people to try and get these planeswalkers for standard.
Yeah.
Do we have to push harder?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that everyone's like a little bit in the space of like, what happens to get things like Oko?
Definitely saying, let's move these packs.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I
do feel like there's some part of it that's like, how much can we shake up a format without making it bad?
Well, for sure.
Is certainly in there,
Yeah.
which is a little bit more benevolent. You're also not wrong with the
But
the pack situation.
like, yeah, that's two ways to look at it, of course. But
yeah, and just looking at, right, so across those 5 walkers, we have 2 4-mana walkers, 2 5-mana walkers, and a 3-mana walker.
yeah.
And then just looking at some of the ones that have come out recently, in Throne of Eldraine,
Yeah.
we had 2 3-mana walkers and a 6.
Yeah.
And like two 3s.
Yeah. Royal Scions and Oko Thief of Crowns banned.
Yeah.
And we also recently had Ren and 6 come into play, which is
Yes.
the first
2-mana walker.
which really was a problem.
Yes. Which isn't to say that, like, for some of these 3-mana walkers, they're still finding that right balance, right? Like, we've had Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, great in that Vampires deck.
Very good.
But not just by itself a busted card.
True.
Mu Yingling, Sky Dancer, cool card.
Yeah.
Not
busted.
broken.
Nope. Chandra Acolyte of Flame, 3-mana, not busted.
Yeah, exactly. Like, has been in some decks, is good.
Yep.
But not just completely...
People had problems with Teferi Time Raveler. I personally am a person who you would think would have a major issue with that card. I don't really mind it.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it.
Again, it's kind of, I think it leans more towards being kind of on the broken end of things for me, just because of the static ability.
Yeah.
Of like, you can't cast anything.
Because it's kind of like snaring you, right?
Yes, it really is.
Rather than, it's snaring the opponent rather than giving yourself resources.
Yes.
Think about it that way.
If it only had like the +1, even if Teferi had a +1 of until your next turn, you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, and each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. So you only get that effect if you're plussing it.
Yeah.
That would be a huge difference in the power level of this
Yes, it
planeswalker.
would. And
it would be night and day.
Let's not forget, too, about Domri, Anarch of Bolas, which saw play but was not
That's true.
broken, and Vivian, Champion of the Wild, same thing.
Yeah.
Both 3-mana. Tybalt remained pretty bad. But you know what? He's a sideboard card.
Do you know what? In those red decks, he had his day.
He had his day.
He did have his day.
And we have to talk about Narset, of course, as well.
Oh, yes. Narset, a card, an uncommon walker.
Yeah.
Good enough that it got restricted in Vintage.
Yes. Yes. And I think, like, too, that we mentioned these static abilities being the real problem with these cards. They're hard to remember.
Yes.
And they really screw over the opponent in a way that might be a little too extreme.
Yeah. They really get aggro on just cracking down on your opponent.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting way to think about it. Like, am I using this Planeswalker space to stop my opponent from doing the things they want to do? Or am I using it to advance my own game plan?
Yes.
Which, to be fair, that is what a control deck wants to do, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's why people don't like these.
Yeah.
Because they're messing with their ability to have fun, not with like, hey, this is helping me win the game, I guess.
Going back to Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, great example of that is like, you're playing a Vampires deck, Sorin helps you
Yeah.
just on your vampire's game.
Do your vampire thing.
Yes. But he's not being like, opponent, you can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't cast non-vampire spells.
I think that's a lesson from these.
Yeah.
That's a lesson.
I agree.
That's a takeaway, okay?
Which is not to say, I for one am happy that they're playing with this design space. That they're pushing things and saying, what can we do?
Absolutely.
That is different.
I'm all for pushing design space. But I'm also
a person who is in favor of fewer questing beasts in the world. It has so much text on it. Why does it need that much text?
It is kind of too much text.
Why does it need that much?
Are you losing to that card a lot? What's going on over here?
I'm not even losing to that card a lot, but sometimes when it comes into play and it attacks you and it like does the chomp on your planeswalker. you know what it does the
chomp.
The chomp on your planeswalker. And you're like,
come on, man.
Come on.
Just hit me in the face, why don't you?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think power creep is too high and they need to rein it in? What do you think for the future?
I think that I like the places where they are being intentional about it and playing with some of the design stuff. Has that led to some busted cards like Oko? Yes. I think that they do need to rein it in when it comes to creatures. Like looking at things like even Smuggler's Copter, which we talked about on the upkeep this week as making trouble in Pioneer.
Yeah.
Is like, what made you think that you needed a 3/3 flyer on turn 2? Like, what made you think that people needed that in their lives? That also
needed that in their lives. I mean, when you look at it that way, it's like,
I guess it's stuff like that.
I'd settle for it too.
When I look at something like Smuggler's Copter and I'm like, should it be there? Like, do you know what? In some ways, yes, I get it. Some people love playing with it. It helps some strategies, some aggro strategies work. But I look at something like Smuggler's Copter where they were like, oh, this is just what creatures should be able to do instead of we are pushing the envelope. I don't agree with stuff that's just like creatures should be super powerful. It's like, no, you should be intentional about when they're being very, very good and when they're being fine.
Spoken like a true control player.
I mean, it's true.
But like if Smuggler's Copter was a 2/2 or if the crew was 2 or whatever, boom, we fixed the problem.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's true.
So like, would my deck still be great without it being a 3/3 for 1 mana? Yeah, it would.
Yeah,
it still would. So yeah, that's power creep for you. It's hopefully I know Wizards is having meetings about the 3 mana walkers and like how to address this in the future and that kind of thing. So it's not like they're not listening.
Oh, Smuggler's Copter was 2 mana. You said 1 for a second. Oh, sorry. I was like, that's not a thing.
2 mana. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of the 1 mana creature you played, which was
Toolcraft Exemplar.
Toolcraft Exemplar. Oh, those were the days.
Barf.
But like we said, you only have 20 life. So there's a limit to how good these things can be, honestly. Okay, let's talk about Mythic Championship 7.
That's right. It's coming up this weekend because the March of Time is inevitable.
Okay, great. We both made a time reference. Yeah, can you believe it? The last Mythic Championship maybe ever ? Next year, they're Mythic Invitationals.
Really?
Yeah.
I forgot that they were changing the name.
I forgot that too until very recently. And I was like, oh yeah, we did talk about that though when it happened.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I guess it's technically the same thing, but like whatever.
Point is, it's happening, and it's the last one of the year. It's the 7th one of the year, which is just so many.
And we've had like 3 in a row, almost back to back to back.
Yes,
they've been clumped.
They've been very clumped,
and there was like a lot more space between the previous few.
I'm having a little bit of fatigue. I'll admit it.
I mean, like it's kind of hard to. They kind of are running together a little bit. I'm like, wait, who won that one, and then who won that one?
And it's like it's so hard to differentiate them. It's like what do you? That's what they said at the last one. And it's like, no, they just did that interview right now. And you're like, whatever.
So Javier won Mythic Championship 5, which was the last arena one that we had.
Yes.
Then we had Mythic Championship 6.
Yes.
Which was tabletop.
Yes, which Andre Strosky
won that one. Which feels like it was yesterday and also 1,000 years ago.
Yep.
And now coming up, here we are yet again. Let's go. Back to Arena.
So we are making our predictions. We're picking 5 players.
Yes.
At least one of whom has to be a challenger.
Correct.
for who we think is going to do great at this.
And if you want to play along, you certainly can. You can head to 1000leagues.com. We have the link in the show notes or under the video here for you to pick your 5, and you can battle against Megan and I. Whoever wins with the most points is going to get a Good Luck High Five gift package.
That's right.
So thank you to 1000 Leagues for helping us out with this. And yeah, pick 5. And so let's talk about our picks.
Yes. Who's your first one?
Javier Dominguez.
He won the last one.
Slam dunk.
I mean, he's just on top of his game right now.
I mean,
he did very well at the tabletop. He won the last arena one. He did very well at the following tabletop one. Now,
and in London, he had a top 8 this season too.
Oh boy!
And he's a current reigning world champion. You know what? I don't pick losers. So Javier, who's your first pick?
My first pick is real loser Shota Yasuoka. Obviously joking, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he won his Throne of Eldraine split in the MPL.
Yep. Smart pick because
he's heading into day 2.
Day 2.
Yeah. I just think, he's an excellent player. When he's on top of his game, he's just...
He looks unbeatable when he is on top of his game, honestly.
There are times that I've watched him play because I did some of the reporting about his win.
Yeah.
And there were times I was watching him and I was just like, I don't know what I would have done here, but this looked perfect.
And he's such a fast player too.
Yes.
That he's just one of those people play like him. For me, it's him and Luis Scott Vargas. Mm-hmm. When I watch them play, it's like they have all knowledge of everything in the game ever.
Yes, of all time, and it's just like their brain just can arrive at a decision like that.
Boom. Yeah.
Because
really
they can see it all at once.
My second player I picked is challenger Kenji Igashira.
Yeah.
Because at Mythic Championship 5, he came in 9th.
Oh, so close.
Heartbreaking 9th place.
He's been practicing a lot.
But he practices all the time. He's one of my favorite streamers and has been ever since he started streaming a million years ago. And a good friend, so I'm going to pick Kenji.
Yeah. My next pick is Luis Salvato.
Player of the year.
Player of the year. I just think that, you know what? Why not?
Great question. Why not?
That's my answer. I just was like, as I was looking at the potential players, I was like, do you know what? Luis Salvato. All right.
Yeah, I got to give you a why not, though. He's not doing very well in the MPL this year.
Okay, that's fair. But that makes him motivated.
He's motivated.
To do well at this event.
Great point. My next pick is another underdog, Andrea Mengucci.
Oh, yeah. Just notable underdog. He only has one GP top 8 to his name.
That is true. And he just got it this past weekend at the Legacy GP in Bologna, which is very funny.
So real underdog, yeah.
But he also was in the top 8 in MC5, right?
Yes, I think so.
I'm getting so confused now.
I mean, he won the Invitational this year,
so
obviously.
Whatever.
I think you're right. He did top 8. You're correct. He did top 8 in Mythic Championship 5.
So, yeah, no big deal.
My next one is Alexander Hayne.
I love Alexander Hayne.
I feel like he's just been working hard.
He has.
He's been working real hard. Another why not?
And you know what? He had a great post earlier this year about mental health and magic, and it was wonderful to see him be open about it and be a champion for talking about it. And he's just a really nice guy. Whenever I interview him, I'm like, oh, great, I get to talk to Alexander Hayne because he's just a great guy.
Yeah, so I'll pick him because he's not a butt.
He's not a butt. Great point.
Which some people are.
My next pick is none other than Mythic Championship 6 champion Andre Strosky.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All champions in my basket.
Although it's so weird to pick someone who just won one.
Because, what are the chances?
But also someone who's been putting in that work.
And the thing is, too, he's part of the Czech testing house. Mm-hmm. So they come up with really innovative designs for decks and very sometimes minuscule changes, but important changes in decks heading into tournaments. Him and Stanislav Sivka.
Yes.
So
I almost picked Stan Sivka.
Maybe they'll do it again.
Yeah.
Who is your next pickerino?
My next pick is Pyotr Glogovsky.
Ooh, great pick.
Yeah. He's also heading into day 2.
Yep.
And I think there are times that he plays a game of Magic and I'm like, I couldn't have made any of those choices, but you sure made them.
For sure. Popular streamer, Canister as well, and known for kind of advocating for Golgari strategies, which might be a popular strategy, either adventure or sacrifice.
Yeah, that's
coming
very
up
true.
This weekend. And my final pick is William Huey Jensen, which is another auto day 2. He's a split winner. And
Maria, can I ask you a question? Is Andre playing in this event?
Wait, what?
Is Andre playing in this event? I don't think he is.
Oh my God.
I don't think he's qualified.
Holy crap.
As you were saying it, I was like, wait a second.
No way. I think you're
not qualified for this event.
Right.
I know I'm right.
I feel like a huge idiot, but also this is a problem. Can I just point that out?
Yeah.
Because like he should be.
Won the last one.
He should be, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not off my rocker.
No, you're not off your rocker.
Okay.
So you're just gonna have to grab back somebody else, buddy.
In that case, I'm gonna pick Stanislav Cifka because that's the closest thing
that's true.
to picking Andre Strosky. Wow, there's egg on my face right now. And it is scrambled.
I was going to say, I almost picked Stan Cifka, so I'm glad that you're picking the other Andre Strosky.
I'll just cross that out and replace it with somebody actually playing in the tournament. Wow. Unbelievable. Anyway.
Very funny.
Jensen, Auto Day 2. And I interviewed him actually for a piece that we played at Mythic Championship VI, which was about world champions staying in the same house together. And he said, basically, I know that if I try, I don't think anyone can beat me.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? I believe you, Huey.
All right.
You're that good.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll try. I mean, he's going to Auto Day too, so might as well, right?
Yeah, that's
Make the
very
most
true.
of that opportunity. That's the word.
And my final pick is Hellcat MTG.
Great pick.
Cat Light. She's a frequent SCG competitor.
Yep.
She tests a lot of tabletop with a tabletop team.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what she brings.
Yeah, and I see her around at tournaments a lot.
Yeah, a whole
birding
bunch.
the players and stuff, which is really cool.
So, that's my pick. That's my challenger pick.
Okay, great. So play along with us. Once again, follow the link in the show notes to enter in 1,000 leagues. It's super fun. And see if you can beat Meghan or I, which you just might be able to, considering
Maria doesn't know who's playing in this tournament.
People who aren't even playing. Oh my God. Like, seriously, Wizards, can you think about this? So if you are a champion of the previous tournament, perhaps consider
you should be playing.
You should get an invite to the next one. Okay, so yeah, those are our picks, and play along for your chance to win a great prize. Remember, you can't just try and submit this on like Friday because it's not going to be open anymore.
Yes.
So submit before entries close. Thursday. Yeah. I don't know if they close like Thursday night or whatever. 1,000 Leagues will have that information, but remember to check that.
Yes. Hey everybody, Ultra Pro.
I want to talk about, for the millionth time, but I love them, these alcohol flip boxes, just because they're a perfect present.
Yes, they are, because they're so nice. You can get them by guild.
Yep.
So you find out what guild your favorite Magic player is.
Like, for instance, this one I'm giving to Brian David Marshall because it's Simic.
Is he Simic?
He's Simic all the way.
As a person, though.
As a person,
he's pretty Rakdos.
He's pretty Rakdos, yeah. But as a player, he loves Simic.
Yes.
So, like, this is very cool, like, personalized Magic gift for the Magic player in your life.
And if you're watching the video version of this podcast, you just got to watch Maria try to open the box.
I was trying to open it without breaking the box.
Open the package for 15 seconds.
There we go.
You go. Okay,
there we
never
go.
mind.
She
did it.
They're super great. They're magnetized,
so nice.
so nothing will ever fall out. And they unfold like this, so you can grab your cards from both sides, which a lot of boxes don't allow you to do. And they've got a cool, like,
interior
embossed Simic pattern on the inside. So like,
they're like,
it's perfect present.
I can't think of nicer deck boxes that I've seen that aren't like the custom made. Aren't custom made.
I love this. So yeah. If you know your friend's favorite guild affiliation, great present for the holiday season. Think about it, and it's all coming to you from Ultra Pro. Hey, guess what? That's our episode this week, Time Travelers.
That's right, everybody. You have now, traveled forward through time.
You have, with us.
By almost an hour.
We were your traveling companions.
Yeah. Wasn't this a nice spaceship?
It really was a great spaceship, honestly.
Now we'll see you out with some spaceship noises.
Beep, 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 beep. Hey, support the show on patreon.com/GLHFmagic. Head to cardkingdom.com/GLHF or buy some Ultra Pro products to help support the show while supporting yourself and your magic love. Boop. Boop.